J-Rox here. So, I've got a lot of questions on my really sweet Three Wolf Moon t-shirt, but also abilities, okay? So, we're going to go through, and I guess a little bit of a lineup update, huh? There's the offense, there's the defense, what we're currently working with. But, like, what to use on each side of the ball, what it means, and we got a tier ranking for you. So, watch your eyes, you're about to get flashed. It is not that kind of flash, more like a whiteout, right? So maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger, that's what she said, and allow you guys to see what I have ranked on my abilities. And we're not going to go through all of them, but we're going to go through like the top ones, obviously, the ones to choose. Because like some of them, it's hard. Some of them, like there's definitely debate on which goes where in which category, as a lot of it's situational, how you like to run your team. Offense, we'll get to defense here in a second too. Special teams over to the right, but there's only like 4 abilities there, so that's not that big of a deal. I got X Factors with the XF right before it, but like X Factors, you guys know me, right? Like the original, when they first came out with X Factors, they were showing like bazookas happening in like Madden 20 or whatever it was, and everybody was freaking out. I'm like, they come on once in a while, that's not that big of a deal. The big ones are the always on abilities. Well, EA took that as a challenge, and now they give us X Factors, always on MUT cards, right? We with the AKA, the program just came out. We have this Mata Beast, and he currently has the Run Stuffer ability, X Factor, always on no matter what. So those cards are going to be, once again, the most powerful cards in the game once they start giving us the higher end X Factors I can always get on. But really, let's talk about what's powerful this year. Like, it's kind of funny because I have different tabs of the last few years. I decided I've had it all correlated. Here's like 22. Here's Madden 23. Here's Madden 24. Now here's Madden 25. Okay, and you'll see a few things move up and down, but 25, we'll just talk about that. We don't need to talk about the changing variables year to year, even though it is kind of fascinating to like look back at how Madden used to play with the skateboardist being overpowered and all that jazz. So this year, what is really good? They've nerfed set feet lead and pass lead elite, not nearly as good, and thankfully, they've also nerfed a little bit of the zone KOs. The crazy thing is, they're still some of the best abilities in the game, even after the nerf. So that's to show you just how powerful they used to be. Whereas things that used to be insane, like a skateboardist, they absolutely took a crazy nerf back to that, probably for the betterment of the game. Next up, so Master Attack basically has Hot Route Master, it has Conductor, and Playmaker all in one thing. Now, Playmaker, I have it in A tier, although I could definitely be argued up to S tier alone for Playmaker. So, Master Attack, 4 AP for that right now, but sometimes it could be discounted in the future, has an S tier, an A tier, and a B tier ability inside of it, and that's why it's like, you know, the number one thing you want to add, just about, or at least in my opinion. You're going to ask why Gunslinger, which a lot of people argue, and I'm not going to go ahead and fight on this topic. That is, Gunslinger's better than Pass Lead Elite and Set Feet Lead this year with the throwing, the getting the emotion out quick. The reason why it's an A tier for me is I have noticed way more misses. Obviously, your throw timing changes with Gunslinger. You can't really throw things on break at all this year. You have to wait slightly longer after a guy breaks to get to throw Gunslinger. Otherwise, your receiver just goes, like it gets an Olay animation. Gunslinger, I also notice I throw a lot more misses when I'm on the run, too. Now, you could patch that up with a little bit of dashing Deadeye to help you out on throws at the 40 yards or long-range Deadeye on stuff even further down the field. It's right here. There's no difference where you are in each tier. Each tier is the same to me. I didn't order them, as that would be too much. So, yeah, Tank is here because you got to run on conservative this year or else you're going to fumble, right? Now, each individual game, you might not necessarily fumble, but like we're talking poker, right? Because if you go into a hand with pocket aces versus like king jack offsuit, sure, they might pull a few cards and get lucky and nothing happens to them wrong. But like if you're running on normal and you're taking hit sticks in the boom tech this year, like, dude, boom techs use the force. I've been hit sticked where the defender was 2 yards to my right and my guy still goes down. You could be taking a lot of hit sticks, so you need to run tank, and people start to realize, you know, then they'll start just cut sticking you or going for the R1s. So you got to run on conservative, and conservative, you're going to take a lot of hit sticks, so you might as well have tank, and then you're going to bounce off them. I've seen touchdowns score this way. Now, I have also seen tank take hit sticks, go backwards too, and then lose a couple yards. So damned if you do, damned if you don't sometimes on these things. But Tank, I feel like, is S tier, just to not like just to kind of like get a few extra yards and break some open field hit stick tackles. So Omnescent is like a combination here. Threat detector, okay, all information abilities shouldn't be in the game. Football is diagnosing disguise coverages, disguise offenses, like changing your routes. In my opinion, this stuff should all be gone. The only one that like I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Identifiers, and it's not like super overpowered, but I would prefer all information abilities to be out of the game, so that way it's much more along of like a chess match. They don't know what you're doing. They can't see what you're thinking. You can't like Bill Belichick your way into victories here with knowing what your opponent's gonna do. So with that said, here is the S for offense. A tier, I went with apprentices. You'll notice outside apprentice isn't here. I actually don't like outside apprentice because in EA's infinite wisdom, they replaced the streak with a fade. So your guy like gets a hitch off and then goes. Like, whereas a lot of Madden is based off timing, right? A game of inches, even like a little bit difference makes a huge impact on the field. So like when you run a streak and a corner route, if it's in a fade in a corner route, they're kind of getting to where you need at the same time because of the slow off start. So basically what people have done, if you have a hot route master or at least apprentices, at least on the outside, they basically, you do a curl and in and out route, and then you just basically stem it all the way up. So hopefully EA figures out a way to replace the fade with a streak next year on that hot route going forward. We'll see if they hear the feedback. But outside apprentice, that's why I have it so low, whereas tight end, slot apprentices, I even have wide receiver apprentice because it has slot apprentice in it as very impactful. Now, I'm not saying outside apprentice is trash. They do give you some decent hot route options, but I just don't like the fact that it takes away your streak when your streak is so very powerful, and it takes me like 5 seconds to do something I should be able to do in 1 or 2. So like, yeah, a lot of apprentices. Backfield masters basically apprentice, and what's the master other one? Better route breaks too. Identifier we talked about. Matchup nightmare. It's all right. It's inconsistent, but it gets you some pretty good animation. It can bail you out at times. Gift wrapped. I was thinking about putting this in the S tier. Gift wrapped on your quarterback. Like, it's almost like, you guys ever play Dungeons and Dragons? It's like getting bardic inspiration for your passes. Give me a D4 on top of it. Now, because it's not gonna like complete everything. It's just going to slightly help you get more completions, better animations, that kind of stuff. Like, especially on, like, a dive across the middle or a sideline, that kind of stuff. So, it helps you, but it's not going to fundamentally change everything. So, but I feel like a 1d4 is an S tier ability in Dungeons and Dragons. It might be an S tier ability. I'm going to leave it at A. Since, like, if I'm ever squeezed for an AP, I generally take gift wrapped off versus, say, like, Master Tack, which is, like, 4. Fearless, it's really here as a guardian against the defensive abilities when they start getting, like, Fearmonger, when they start getting Edge Threat Elite or Under Pressure type stuff. So, like, Under Pressures are really degenerate. At least they have been in the past. I haven't gone against an Under Pressure defense yet. They're really degenerate. But then, like, EA starts giving us a bunch of, like, Fearless for cheap. So, they're nice. They're, like, I don't know. They're like the finger in the dam of awful gameplay. Because when your quarterback randomly misses pass because he's under pressure, it's terrible. It's absolutely not fun at all. Defense doesn't have that much more enjoyment because it's just RNG. So, the offense just feels pain. And there's no, counter play as much as you want to other than just having the right ability equipped. Honorary lineman and nasty streak. Being able to put defenders on their butt in the run game is dang near S tier. I have it at A tier because there are things the defense can do to counteract a little bit of it. And once we get like later in the game and there's multiple people you can put these things on and just run the ball and then you just plowing dudes over, then that's degenerate. But like, luckily most of the runners, the people that are trash at Madden, have moved to NCAA football. And they're just running over there since it's so much more powerful. It's like Madden 20. So you don't see this online that much just because all the trash runners have migrated over to the game that rewards them more. Now, X factors, Truz, Yak 'em Up, Double Me, all really good. Yak 'em Up is basically just like after you catch the ball, you're going to break the first tackle. So, like, throw a drag, throw the route to your running back, and then you basically get an angry run or freight train-esque play after the ball. But these, I don't know, did I talk enough about these? Omaha, that's a vision ability where you can see the defense. Really dumb. I don't want, you know what? Film study, same rant. The only reason film study is an S tier, not S plus, is the fact that you'll be leading in the game, it'll crash your game. It'll literally disconnect you. Oh, a desync error has occurred. You literally can't use it in squads because it desyncs every game. It pops up. That's the reason why it's S tier, not S plus. Should be out of the game type stuff because it will also punish you at times, desyncing games. But I think PC players, like, that doesn't really affect you since, like, there are just, like, on-command desyncs whenever you want on that platform. So 2 of 3 platforms. Well, I guess 4 of the 5 since old gen, new gen type stuff is there. That's the downside of running film study. You just won't complete your game. You'll waste your time. What else? Gunslinger we talked about. Post up. If there's ever like a 3-man rush meta, post up's incredible. Dead eyes. Completely get accurate stuff even when like you're off platform under pressure, that kind of stuff. Playmaker. Just run a drag playmaker whenever you want. Run like 2 streaks and a cross, and then you can playmaker the other way. Very good ability. That one's borderline S tier 2 in my opinion. Slotomatic short in to beat man coverage. I think I have Route Tech man coverage beater up there. Also X Factor dots to throw passes. Now I have all day here at B tier, and you saw I have post up here. I actually might move those next to each other. So I used a lot of all days during the winter promo when we could get free AP on our offensive lineman for these abilities, and it made the pocket a lot easier to stay inside. So all day, 100% in my mind, is awesome. I have Secure Protect. Where's Secure Protector? The only reason Secure Protector is here is that it's more expensive, but I think I'm actually gonna move it up because I'll just consider these things AP independent of each other. Whereas all day is I think it's what 1 or 2. Oh, I think on some cards it's 1, but a lot of cards it's 2. Whereas Secure Protector, to my knowledge, hasn't been discounted yet, but it's at 3 normally. But otherwise, Secure Protector is awesome. It is the only thing, at least last year, we don't have these things in the game yet. It was the only thing that countered Unstoppable Force and Colossus last year. So you had to have an entire offensive line of Secure Protector. So it's basically it's another finger in the wall. We're like Dutch boying these abilities of like awful gameplay. So that's really currently what we're looking at right there between those two. All right, and then C and below, I'm not really going to go into too much of this. Running back moves this year got nerfed hard, and if you ever bulldoze somebody armbar, it slows you down so much you get like a couple more yards. It's not like Cam Scattaboo in the college football playoffs. You're not like trucking a guy and then moving on for another 40 yards or whatever, or just him in the regular season. And then yeah, I don't really want to talk about much else. Did I demote anything that was really good in previous years? Like maybe fast break. Like okay, fast break. Maybe there's some unintended consequence. Fast break and wildcat. I don't know. But that's been nerfed from previous years. That hasn't been good in a while. Second win. I guess if you have a really good running back needing regeneration of your stamina, get back up. Wrecking ball is basically the same thing. It just has like it increases. These two are basically the same thing. It increases your chances of winning these things, but the better ones are definitely jukes, spins. I guess maybe I'd put spin cycle up, but you just can't run off conservative right now. Like there's so limited upside to the amount of downside because like you only get 5 possessions in a Madden game. Losing one to a fumble in an offensive Madden is how you lose games. So that's why most people are running conservative that are say good at the game. All right, on defense. S pluses are abilities that literally change the game. Mind Reader is here instead of Film Study. Mind Reader is basically Film Study, but no requirements on it, which is why it's S. But like Bottleneck, I'm not gonna say I was the very first one, but I was, we'll say ahead of the meta by about a month on Bottleneck last year, where we were running press 2-man with Bottleneck and bench press, and I don't think I lost a game of Madden for a month. You know how much I do play Madden. But like it was absurd how easy Madden was running press 2-man with Bottleneck bench press. So that's the thing about man coverage metas. Like, if you just have like one ability out there, like if they're expensive and you can only put it on like one corner, it's like not that good because there's still a lot of other guys that are getting open against these players. Whereas if you can run all these things at the same time, if you can run some inside shades, some one steps to combine with some route KOs or an X factor or whatever, universal coverage, like man is degenerative. It like when man is good, Madden is bad, right? When you can just set your controller down and let your defense do the work for you in man coverage, Madden is in an awful spot. So man needs to be in a spot that is very hard to be, which is balance. And I've seen some chatter saying, oh, man should be able, if you shade outside, take away everything outside. It's like, no, that's not how that works, right? That's not how that should be at all. Like, it should help, definitely, but there should not be like, all right, now the entire outside part of the field is dead. Let me just throw like a deep middle, a hook zone, and like a use of the middle, and now all of a sudden, I got everything, right? Like, it shouldn't work that way, even though people want it to. So there needs to be shades of grays here. So that's why these are all S tiers, because they can get really bad really quick depending on how MUT team implements them. With that said, X factors, reinforcement, avalanche, universal coverage, selfless, they're all really good, but not literal change the way the game is played good. Whereas these things are. That's why they're S tier and not S plus. But yes, film study, we talked about Dom and our ramble, our rant, our hate of it. Catching picks, knocking out balls and coverage and getting better response time. Inside stuff to stop those annoying insides. Now, inside stuff's not nearly as good as it used to be. It's still really good, but sometimes the problem with inside stuff is the over-penetration of it, where you penetrate really well, but then the animation takes so long that the runner actually gets past you and then has like a wider open hole. So like inside stuff feels a lot like, to me, gunslinger. So you kind of want, like, you know, depending on your defense, run a few inside stuffs, get multiple penetrators. But yeah, even so, that's oftentimes been the doom of me. And a good runner knows how to take advantage of an inside stuff, either double team it or use its own animations against it. Mid-zone KO, flat zone KO, both great. If I had to rank one above the rest, I'd say mid-zone is my favorite KO right now. Not only because it's the one that's been most discounted. There's only one flat zone KO for one, I believe, at corner. That new Revis. I don't know. Is there a single discounted deep out zone right now? We used it a lot during the winter promo, but they unfroze all those, so we lost them all. There's a few discounted deep in. But yeah, those are S tier. A tier is right here. Strip specialist, tackle supreme. Strip specialist, like, I feel like one strip specialist, it's very similar to the man thing. One strip specialist is like, all right, am I actually gonna go for strips on everybody? But like an entire team of strip specialists, and all of a sudden you've got the same problem with like the boom tech and that awful animations those give you. Like, not only is it unrealistic and looks terrible, but they also put the ball out at quite a high rate. Whereas strip specialists, it's pretty similar, stripping the ball, but you get your tackles broken generally when you strip the ball. With strip specialists, you don't have that like downside. So an entire team of strip specialists can absolutely be a menace out there if we ever get the opportunity to do that with discounted AP going forward. Tackling supreme. Yeah, not getting your tackle broken is nice. I don't really see that much anymore because most people are running conservative, like I said. So A tier is about as high as I want it in the current meta. No outsiders to help stop stretch. Now, it's not a cure-all. No outsiders can definitely get out animationed. Double teams will still beat it, just like inside stuff, that, etc. El Toro, I'm super, like, on the fence about. I've seen it go crazy, but then I've seen it disappear, too. So, El Toro, I don't know. I'm like, I mean, that's kind of a pass rush, right? Like, sometimes you just, like, blowing past them. Other times you're getting stonewalled. That feels like that happens in real life, too. Like guys will get, like, 4 sacks a game, then not get a sack the next one. I'm going to put El Toro at A, just because I've seen what it can do, but it might have just been because my guy had such good, like, power move, and he was getting one-on-ones. I don't know. I'm leaving it as is, but I might be overrating it here. Double or nothing, very inconsistent, just like El Toro. I actually put the edge and interior threats down because I stacked interior threat with double or nothing. Didn't really see a whole lot more working at all on this Mata Beast than him just natural. Seen edge threat stacked with double or nothing, it goes okay. But yeah, the edge threat, interior threat got nerfed heavy. This used to be really good. Like, this used to be, like, dominating wins, especially when you stacked it. Now it's just, I don't know. Like, it's pretty pathetic and a waste of AP, in my opinion, versus what you can do with knockouts. I don't have any other notes. If you guys have questions on special teams, I like Zen and Clutch. I don't like icing of the kicker at the end of the game. Zen for over 45, and then, like, who cares about seeing the whole meter? And Focused is under 45. So there are some abilities that have been in the game, but aren't right now. So I just didn't even rank them. Right? These things have been added, according to Mutt Leaks, but we haven't really seen them this... Oh, no, some of these have been in there, but... Pin and Pull Guru, for example. I've seen that. That's like an E. I don't do a whole lot of that stuff. And some of them are easy to tell if they're good or bad, right? Like mid-route elite, short elite, but nobody's got them, so I'm not going to rank them. Same thing on defense. They have a lot of abilities that are very similar to other abilities already in the game. It's almost like, yo, boss, we had a bunch of new abilities, but we didn't do actually any work. We just renamed them and then recombined them. All right. That's it for the video. Let me know if you have any questions. One more time. We'll go through it. Just to show it. You guys can pause the video over top of the abilities here. Screenshot it. Use it for your own good. And then on offense, here you go. All right.